Imagine being surrounded by people who could destroy your reputation, betray you, abandon you, or turn against you, and still refusing to give them control over your mind. Nearly 2,000 years ago, a Roman emperor wrote down the exact rules he used to survive that battle. He wasn't writing for an audience. He wasn't trying to become famous. He was writing to himself, because even the most powerful man in the world knew how dangerous one uncontrolled emotion could become. And today, those same rules can make you incredibly difficult to manipulate, because the person trying to control you doesn't always need your obedience. Sometimes, all they need is your reaction.
Think about the last time someone made you feel guilty, not because you had actually done something wrong, but because they knew exactly what to say. Maybe they suddenly became distant. Maybe they stopped replying. Maybe they said, "I guess I just care more than you do." And suddenly, you felt the need to explain yourself. You sent another message, then another. You tried to fix the situation. You tried to prove that you cared. And without realizing it, you were already playing their game. This is what makes manipulation so dangerous. It rarely begins with someone taking something from you. It begins with someone discovering what can move you: your anger, your guilt, your fear, your insecurity, your need for approval, your fear of being abandoned. Once they discover the button, they don't need to control your entire life. They only need to press it. And this is exactly where an ancient philosophy becomes surprisingly modern: Stoicism.
Because Stoicism doesn't teach you how to control other people. It teaches you how to become harder for other people to control. Picture this. It's late at night. The Roman camp is quiet. Outside, thousands of soldiers are sleeping. The air is cold. There is mud on the ground. The empire is at war. And inside a small, dimly lit room, Marcus Aurelius is sitting alone. He is the emperor of Rome, one of the most powerful men alive. But there is no crowd here, no applause, no throne, no ceremony, just a man and his thoughts. He picks up a writing tablet and begins writing reminders to himself, not instructions for his army, not speeches for the Roman people, reminders about how he should behave, how he should control his anger, how he should respond to difficult people, how he should accept things he cannot change, how he should remain rational when the world around him becomes irrational.
Think about the irony. The man who had enormous power over other people was spending his nights reminding himself not to become controlled by his own emotions. That's the heart of Stoicism, because Marcus understood something most people never learn. Having power over others means very little if you don't have power over yourself. And then there's Epictetus. His story is even more powerful. He was born into slavery. He entered life without the freedom most people take for granted. He didn't choose his circumstances. He didn't choose his social position. He didn't control the world around him. And yet, he eventually became one of the most influential Stoic teachers in history. How? Because he began separating two things: the world and his response to the world. Epictetus taught that some things are within our control and some things are not. Your choices, your judgments, your actions, your response, those belong to you. But another person's opinion, that isn't yours. Their behavior, not yours. Their approval, not yours. Whether they stay, not yours. Whether they betray you, not yours. And this distinction is devastating to manipulation, because manipulation depends on you trying to control something that was never yours.
Imagine someone insults you. The insult has already happened. You cannot go backward in time. You can't reach into their mind and remove the thought. You can't force them to respect you. So what is actually yours? Your response. That's it. And that sounds almost too simple until you experience it. Someone says something cruel. Your heart starts racing. Your body becomes tense. You feel heat in your chest. You want to answer immediately. You want to hurt them back. You want them to understand how badly they hurt you. And then you pause. 1 second, 2 seconds. You breathe. And you ask, what part of this belongs to me? Suddenly, the situation changes. The person can still be cruel, the situation can still be unfair, but they no longer have complete control over what happens next, because you have created a space between their action and your reaction. That tiny space is where your freedom lives. This is the part most people don't understand. A manipulator doesn't necessarily need to convince you of anything. They need to trigger you. Imagine someone knows you hate being ignored. They disappear for 2 days, then suddenly return. You immediately feel relief. You respond quickly. They disappear again. Now you're anxious. You start checking your phone. You wonder what you did wrong. They return. You feel happy again. Without realizing it, your emotional state is now being controlled by their behavior. That's not love. That's conditioning. And it works because your brain learns, when they pull away, I chase. Another person may discover that anger is your weakness, so they provoke you. They know exactly which words will make you explode. And every time you react, they learn more about you. Your emotional reactions become information. Your buttons become a map. And once someone has the map, they know where to press.
This is why the Stoic Pause is so powerful. You don't have to stop feeling. You simply stop obeying the feeling immediately. Someone insults you. Pause. Someone sends an aggressive message. Pause. Someone tries to make you jealous. Pause. Someone suddenly withdraws affection. Pause. Not because you're afraid, because you're thinking. Ask yourself, what are they trying to make me feel? Then, why? And finally, what happens if I refuse to react? That last question can completely change a relationship, because when someone expects you to explode and you remain calm, the pattern breaks. When they expect you to chase and you don't, the pattern breaks. When they expect you to beg for approval and you calmly continue with your life, the pattern breaks. You don't need to defeat them. You simply stop participating.
But Stoicism goes even deeper. The Stoics understood that one of the greatest sources of suffering is becoming emotionally dependent on a specific outcome. You want the job. You need them to hire you. You want the relationship. You need them to stay. You want someone to respect you. You need their approval. And suddenly, your peace has been handed to something outside your control. The Stoics used a powerful idea called the reserve clause. You act, you prepare, you give your best, but you mentally leave room for reality to disagree with you. You might say, I will do everything I can to achieve this, if circumstances allow. That final phrase changes everything, because now you can pursue something without becoming its prisoner. You can love someone without needing them to validate your worth. You can pursue success without believing failure makes you worthless. You can defend yourself without needing everyone to agree with you. You can walk away from someone without needing them to understand why. That is emotional independence.
The most dangerous manipulation isn't always obvious. Sometimes it looks like love. Sometimes it looks like concern. Sometimes it looks like, I'm only saying this because I care about you. Sometimes it's, if you really loved me, you would. Sometimes, after everything I've done for you. And suddenly, you're carrying guilt that was deliberately placed on your shoulders. You start questioning yourself. Maybe I'm selfish. Maybe I am the problem. Maybe I should apologize. Maybe I should give them another chance. And this is where Stoicism asks you to step back. Not emotionally, but intellectually. Ask, what actually happened? Separate facts from interpretation. What did they say? What did they do? What did I assume? What am I feeling? And what action is actually mine to take? This is difficult because emotions feel like facts, but they're not always facts. Fear feels like danger. Guilt feels like responsibility. Jealousy feels like evidence. Anger feels like justice. But feelings are signals. They aren't always instructions.
Marcus Aurelius repeatedly returned to the idea that your judgments and inner response are where your agency lies. This doesn't mean the outside world doesn't matter. It does. People can hurt you. Life can break your plans. You can lose someone you love. You can fail. You can be betrayed. You can experience things you never deserved. Stoicism doesn't ask you to pretend those things don't hurt. It asks something harder. It asks, now what?
What will you do with what happened? Will you let betrayal turn you bitter? Will you let rejection convince you that you're worthless? Will you let one person's opinion become your identity? Will you let someone else's cruelty decide the kind of person you become? Or will you take the pain and decide what happens next? That is strength. Not pretending you weren't hurt, but refusing to let the hurt become your master. And this is where people get Stoicism completely wrong. Being Stoic doesn't mean becoming cold. It doesn't mean pretending you don't care. It doesn't mean suppressing every emotion. Marcus Aurelius cared deeply about humanity. Epictetus cared enough to teach others how to live. The Stoic isn't someone without emotions. The Stoic is someone who refuses to let emotions drive the car. You can be angry without becoming cruel. You can be afraid without becoming cowardly. You can love someone without becoming dependent on them. You can be hurt without becoming destructive. You can forgive without becoming available for repeated abuse. That's emotional strength. And emotional strength is exactly what manipulation struggles against.
Eventually, something strange happens. The person who used to control your mood can't do it anymore. They send the message. You read it. You feel something, but you don't immediately react. You breathe, you think, and you decide. They try to make you jealous. You notice it, but you don't play. They criticize you. You listen. If they're right, you learn. If they're wrong, you move on. They withdraw attention. You don't chase. And one day, you realize something. They haven't necessarily changed. You have. And that's the moment manipulation loses its power, not because you became stronger than them, but because you stopped giving them access to the part of you they were controlling.
So here's a practice you can start tonight. It takes less than 5 minutes. Before you sleep, put your phone down, turn off the noise, and ask yourself 3 questions. 1. What went well today? Where did you act with discipline? Where did you remain calm? Where did you make the right decision? Remember it. 2. What didn't go well? Where did you react emotionally? Where did you chase someone's approval? Where did you let someone else's behavior control your mood? Don't judge yourself. Study yourself. 3. What is actually within my control tomorrow? Not the entire world, not other people's opinions, not whether someone loves you, not whether everyone respects you. Your actions, your attention, your words, your boundaries, your effort, your response. That's enough. Do this every night, and slowly, you begin noticing your own patterns. You discover where people can manipulate you, and more importantly, you discover why.
2,000 years have passed since Marcus Aurelius wrote to himself. The world has changed. Empires disappeared. Technology transformed humanity. Communication became instant. But human emotions remained surprisingly familiar. People still fear rejection. People still crave approval. People still become jealous. People still manipulate. People still provoke. And people still react. That's why these ancient lessons remain alive. Because the battlefield changed, but the human mind didn't. And maybe the greatest Stoic lesson isn't, don't let anyone hurt you. That's impossible. People will hurt you. Life will hurt you. Sometimes unfairly, sometimes unexpectedly. The real lesson is,
Don't give every person the power to decide who you become after they hurt you. Let them speak. Let them misunderstand. Let them leave. Let them judge. Let them provoke. You don't have to surrender your mind every time someone knocks on the door of your emotions. Pause. Breathe. Observe. Choose. Because the moment you stop reacting automatically, you become harder to control. And the person who once knew exactly which button to press may suddenly discover something terrifying. The button doesn't work anymore. That is the armor Stoicism offers. Not armor against pain, not armor against loss, but armor against becoming a slave to every emotion the world throws at you. Marcus Aurelius had an empire. Epictetus had almost nothing. Yet both discovered the same battlefield, the human mind. And if you can learn to command yours, you don't need to control everyone else. You become free. And sometimes, freedom is the most powerful form of resistance.